Ever wondered how Canada's employment rate stacks up against the rest of the world? Well, you're in the right place. We're about to dive into a fascinating exploration of how Canada ranks in the global employment arena. We'll delve into the nuts and bolts of what defines an employment rate, then offer a detailed breakdown of Canada's situation. We'll even pit it against the rates of various other countries. Some comparisons may leave you astounded. So are you ready for some eye-opening insights? Stay tuned, the numbers might surprise you. Before we delve into comparisons, let's understand what we mean by employment rate. So, here's the lowdown. The employment rate is the percentage of people in the working age population who are employed. It's a simple equation, really. You take the number of employed people, divide it by the total working age population, and then multiply the result by 100. But what's the working age population, you ask? Well, it's typically those aged 15 to 64, though this can vary slightly from country to country. The employment rate doesn't just measure how many people have jobs, it also gives us insights into other factors. Things like economic activity, labor market conditions, and even societal trends can all influence the employment rate. So, when we're looking at the employment rate, we're not just looking at a number. We're looking at a snapshot of a country's economy and its people. Now that we're clear on that, let's dive into the numbers. So, how does Canada fare when it comes to employment? Well, let's dive right in, shall we? Canada, famously known for its maple syrup, hockey, and for being one of the friendliest countries in the world, also boasts of a robust employment rate. In recent years, Canada's employment landscape has seen a steady upswing. The country has consistently demonstrated a strong employment rate, which is a testament to its healthy economy and the opportunities it offers. Now let's talk about the factors influencing this rate. A key driver of Canada's employment growth is its diverse economy, which spans across multiple sectors, from technology and healthcare to natural resources and manufacturing. This diversity creates a wide range of job opportunities for individuals with different skills and interests. Another significant factor is Canada's commitment to education and skills development. The country is home to some of the world's top universities and research institutions, fostering a highly educated workforce that is well equipped to meet the demands of the modern economy. Immigration also plays a pivotal role in Canada's employment story. The nation's welcoming immigration policies attract skilled workers from around the globe, effectively contributing to the workforce and the economy. However, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. The employment rate can fluctuate due to various reasons such as economic downturns, pandemics, or changes in industry trends. For instance, the global health crisis in 2020 and 2021 did impact Canada's employment rate, causing a temporary dip. But thanks to the country's resilient economy and swift response measures, it has been on the path to recovery. In a nutshell, Canada's employment rate is a dynamic entity, influenced by a multitude of factors, from economic diversity and education to immigration policies. It's a great indicator of the country's overall economic health and the quality of life it offers to its residents. That's Canada's current standing, but how does it compare to other countries? Well, stay tuned as we explore that in the next segment. Let's place Canada on the world stage, shall we? When we zoom out of the Canadian landscape and look at the global arena, we find some intriguing contrasts and comparisons. Canada's employment rate, as we've discussed, has its own tale to tell. But how does it stack up against the rest of the world? Let's find out, starting with our southern neighbors, the United States. The land of opportunity, as it is often called, has a labor force participation rate that's been bobbing around the 60% mark for the past few years. That's slightly lower than Canada's. Why? Well, one reason could be America's larger population size, which can lead to more competition for jobs and higher unemployment. Now, let's cross the Atlantic and take a peek at the United Kingdom. The Brits are known for their strong work ethic, and it shows in their employment numbers. They're typically a few percentage points higher than Canada. But remember, the UK has a smaller population, which can make it easier to achieve higher employment rates. As we move eastward, we come across Germany. Known for its precision and efficiency, Germany boasts one of the highest employment rates in the European Union, often surpassing the 70% mark, a notch above Canada. One reason for this could be Germany's dual education system, which combines classroom-based education with on-the-job training, making it easier for students to transition into the workforce. Let's take a quick detour down under to Australia. Now, the Aussies have an employment rate that's pretty much on par with Canada's. Both countries have similar economies, with a strong emphasis on natural resources, which could explain the similar employment rates. Heading back to the Northern Hemisphere, let's look at Japan. The Japanese have a slightly lower employment rate than Canada. But don't be fooled by the numbers. Japan's aging population means a smaller workforce, and their lower rate doesn't necessarily signify a struggling job market. Now let's finish our journey in the world's most populous country, China. With its vast population, China's employment rate is a bit of a mixed bag. Urban areas tend to have higher employment rates, while rural regions lag behind. Overall, China's employment rate is lower than Canada's, but keep in mind, the sheer size of China's labor force makes it a unique case. So what have we learned from this global tour? Well, employment rates can vary greatly from country to country. Factors such as population size, economic structure, education systems, and demographic trends can all play a role. But remember, an employment rate is just one piece of the economic puzzle. It's important to consider it in the context of other factors like income levels, job quality, and economic stability. As we can see, Canada's employment rate tells an interesting story when compared globally. So, what can we glean from this comparison? Well, we've taken quite a journey together, haven't we? We've dived headfirst into the world of employment rates and emerged with a deeper understanding of what this all means, especially in the context of our lovely neighbor to the north, Canada. We started off by unpacking the term employment rate. Remember, it's the percentage of people who are gainfully employed compared to the total number of individuals in the working age population. It's a valuable indicator of a country's economic health, giving us insights into its labor market and overall productivity. Then we zoomed in on Canada's employment rate. It's been a roller coaster ride over the past few years, but the resilience of the Canadian labor market is undeniable. Despite the challenges, Canada's employment rate remains robust, reflecting a healthy economy with a diverse array of job opportunities. But we didn't stop there, did we? We ventured out into the wider world to see how Canada's employment rate stacks up against other countries. And guess what? Canada holds its own pretty well. It consistently ranks among the top nations in terms of employment rate, a testament to its strong economy and effective labor market policies. But why does this matter, you might ask? Well, a high employment rate is a sign of a thriving economy where individuals are actively participating in the labor market. It's a mark of a society where people have the opportunity to contribute their skills and talents, and in return, secure a stable income to support themselves and their families. It's a reflection of a country's economic vitality and social well-being. In short, the employment rate is more than just a number. It's a snapshot of a nation's economic health, a barometer of its labor market, and a beacon of its societal progress. And there you have it, a closer look at Canada's employment rate in a global context. So, what's the big picture here? As we've dived into the depths of Canada's employment rate, we've unearthed a myriad of insights. Beyond just a percentage, this single figure holds the potential to shape livelihoods, influence policies, and even steer economies. For job seekers, this information is invaluable. It's not just about finding a job, but understanding the market you're stepping into. The employment rate is a reflection of the economy's health, a barometer indicating the balance between job demand and supply. It's important to remember that each job sector might have a different employment rate. For instance, the technology sector might be booming, while the manufacturing sector may be on a downturn. For policymakers, these figures are a compass guiding economic strategies. A high employment rate signals a robust economy, but it's not just about celebrating the highs. It's also about identifying the sectors that are lagging and formulating policies to boost them. And for us, the everyday people, the employment rate is a reminder that behind every statistic is a story of hard work, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of a better life. We encourage you to think about these implications, ask more questions, and never stop learning. Because when it comes to understanding our world, every piece of knowledge counts. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Canada's employment rate. Remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your career.